Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Combat Patrol magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week we are on issue number 57 of good old Combat Patrol magazine. It is part 1 of 2 of our Chthonian Beserks. So we get 2 smaller frames than normal, and obviously next week we'll get the other frame and the bases. So we'll have enough to build all our minis. So you may actually already have, I've not really examined it properly, but you may already have enough to get started on some of these guys if you wanted to. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. One of the minis, I must admit, I've not had from the Leagues of Votann range, and I am kind of looking forward to getting them. So if you like your Leagues of Votann, you want to expand the army as well, obviously you've got the vehicles, you've got the new additional units as well. So we've got the Chthonian Earthshakers, which have like a big heavy artillery style, mortar style weapon, which are pretty cool, as well as some other bits and pieces. So there are some really good minis. Once next week's issue is done, we'll be moving towards the good old Einir Halfguard as well, which are our bonus unit for good old Combat Patrol magazine. But all in all, really good units, so they're quite good fun. Obviously, as this week is part 1 of 2, we get our build guide this week. Yeah, you have options for the heads on each one of them, so it's up to you which head you want to go for. So if you're going to have multiple of these, you can choose a different head each time and to kind of differentiate them. Or if you get multiples of these and you want to keep the same head, you can do. It is entirely up to you. But there are a few bits and pieces for all of these guys, so they're not the most straightforward means to get. They're not push fit or anything like that, which is always a good sign, but pretty cool stuff. So really enjoyable, should be really good fun, and yeah, happy days. Moving on from there, we get more lore for the good old Leagues of Votann as well. So this is all to do with the Kronos Hegemony. So the Kronos Hegemony is one of the newer Leagues of Votann. They are known for their aggressive, warlike nature and are adept fighters whose belligerence is legendary and whose victories are beyond counting. They make excellent allies and fearsome enemies, and they are always looking for ways to expand their holdings. So the Kronos Hegemony was formed when the Thane of a group called Corin's Kindred achieved self-awareness and became a Votann. With a Votann of their own, these formerly unremarkable kin were able to split off from their previous alliance with the faltering Kaplian League and form a league of their own. Not the TV show. Although it has been less than 1,000 years, the new league has risen to become one of the most powerful in the galactic core. So, a little bit of information about the Kronos Hegemony, because there are many different leagues of the Leagues of Votann. Some are newer, some are older, some are wiser, some are big, some are small, and all that good stuff. So, there are many options, and obviously all of them have different paint schemes. So the Kronos Hegemony are a pretty cool one, which is the kind of paint scheme that they're encouraging us to paint for these chappies. So the yellow and black armor, which does look really good. I must admit, I do quite like them, but I prefer my good old Ymir conglomerate because I just like the red armor, and they look pretty cool. But yeah, these guys are swift to anger, so they are one of the more warlike leagues. The Kronos Hegemony has often been brought into conflict with kin from other leagues in wars over resources or reputation. So even they'll battle against each other because, yeah, they're a bit aggressive. And they also like their armoured assaults as well, so we get the Hecaton Land Fortress, which is brilliant vehicle. If you can and you want Leagues of Votann as an army, get yourself one of these guys. I must admit, I'm probably going to treat myself to one of these sooner or later. But yeah, really good stuff. Then we move on, we get more information about the different transports of the 41st millennium. So on the battlefield of the far future, many armies rely on transports to get their troops quickly to where they need to go, to protect them from enemy fire and to carry heavy weapons forward into the fight. So in the deadly fighting of the 41st millennium, the ground shakes with the hum of tracked vehicles rumbling forward to enemy lines. The screams and yells of soldiers ring out as squads dismount from their transports and join straight into the worst of the fighting. So, obviously one of the main transports within the 41st millennium is the iconic Land Raider for the good old Space Marines. Obviously, many people also know the Rhino schematic and all that type of stuff as well. So they have that as a main kind of vehicle for the transportation of Imperium soldiers. And yeah, pretty cool. So Land Raiders are one of the most powerful vehicles in the Space Marine armory, should I say. Mobile fortresses with a history so ancient that it blends into myth. Few Forge Worlds are now able to produce such advanced technology, but their immense firepower and toughness more than makes up for their rarity. So the Land Raider has been around a while, but it's also a little bit tougher to get, but pretty cool stuff. Then you've got the advanced transports like the Hecaton Land Fortress, as mentioned before, which is a pretty tough vehicle. So, bristling with armaments and shielded by the latest armour, these vehicles, advanced transports, can kind of plough through under heavy fire to deliver troops safely to where the fighting is thickest. And then obviously you've got things like bio-transports for like the Orcs, for instance, like the Orc Kill Rig. And they obviously, the Orcs have some pretty quirky vehicles which are really good fun, and some of the more interesting vehicles that you can get in the whole of Warhammer 40k, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, really good fun and quite a bit interesting. And obviously then you've got the Eldari have their own vehicles and transports and stuff like that, and Jakari and so on and so on and so on. So pretty much everything has their own transport. Then we move on to the light vehicles. So obviously there are bikes. So on the battlefields of the 41st millennium, many armies make use of light vehicles and personal transports that allow troops to cross vast distances with ease and strike at vulnerable areas without warning. In the fast-paced wars of the future, raids and their attacks are undertaken at lightning speed. Bikes slalom across the battlefield, bringing their riders straight to the enemy. Skimmers shoot around the war zone, taking high ground or traversing difficult terrain and using it as a firing position to rain shot and shell down on their targets. So obviously we have bikes. So Gene Stealer Cult, which we're going to get for some of these guys. We have the Atalan Jackals, which are really cool, and they're my favourite bikes that you can get in the entire 40k kind of realm. Although I do quite like the Biker Boy Orcs as well, they're quite fun, but these are really good fun. The Gene Stealer Cult ones are pretty cool. They have a little ATV and all that type of stuff as well. Then you've got the jet bikes for things like the Custodies use and such like that, which, you know, they don't look too bad. They are pretty cool. They're pretty different and pretty interesting. Then you've got the normal bikes that the Space Marines have, and then you've got the good old Pioneers for the Leagues of Votann. You have other bikes as well knocking around, and then you've got your skimmers like the Tau weaponry that kind of sits on the outside and just skims around, like, which I think it's called a Piranha. Yeah, Piranha. I should really read that caption, shouldn't I? But the Piranha, which, I must admit, not a vehicle I ever had. I did have the good old I can't even remember what their transport's called, but I did have one of them until I sold it to a friend. But yeah, really cool. There are many different vehicles within the 41st millennium, so depending on what army you go for, or if multiple armies, you can go for different variations of your fast attack units if you want to incorporate them into your army. And some of them have special micro factions within the faction that are kind of very heavily around vehicles, so like the White Scars, for instance, for the good old Space Marines, and so on. So pretty cool stuff. Then we have our collect page for the Chthonian and Beserk. So obviously you get to do the usual, give them their unit name, roll for their background, all that good stuff. If you're into it, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Then obviously we have the data sheet for them. So we already have the data card. So now we have the data sheet. Obviously these are highly augmented as well, because the Chthonian Berserks are some of the toughest troops in the Leagues of Votann army. Their Feel No Pain 5+ ability can allow them to shrug off even the strongest of blows, which gives them a real tough edge. So kind of think like a little bit like the Slayer cult from good old Warhammer the Old World, for instance, like the Slayers for the dwarves and stuff like that. So like Gotrek Gurnason or Snorri Nosebiter and all that. They're very much in that kind of range, but not really in that kind of zone. But yeah, kind of a 40k version of them in a roundabout way anyway. Pretty cool stuff. Moving on, obviously we have our campaign for this week, Orcs versus Tyranids. So that one could be quite good fun, couldn't it? Two very horde based armies. One obviously very biological and very focused on bioweapons and such like, and then one that is just absolute mayhem and hell-bent on just smashing everything and fighting as much as possible. Really cool armies. So both really good fun. You get to do them as display of might with this one if you go following this campaign. So a little bit of good fun. Obviously you get the core mission that you can find out all the details under there as well in core mission 2. And yeah, depending on how you want to go about doing it, you get to have your victories, which will be pretty cool. Then we move on. We have Leagues of Votann faction abilities. So they have the Eye of the Ancestors, which depending on their judgment tokens, which obviously you had the ones that you could cut out on the back page of a few issues ago, or if you're like me and you had the starter box when it first came out, yeah, you had them all push out on a card. So, or if you really wanted to be fancy about it, you could 3D print them. So, which I wouldn't be surprised if people have done that, and then there'll be websites that obviously sell counters that do the same type of thing. So, or you could just use dice if you really wanted to, but it's entirely up to you. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. It gives you a bit more information about making sure you're using these and the different ways to allocate judgment tokens to your enemy units and how it works. So passing judgment, the judgment token, and so on, and how to use them. Then obviously you get a bit more rules to do with the enhancements, secondary objectives, and stratagems for the Leagues of Votann. Always very worth having a nosy at and reading up on, because they do have some, and I wish the pages weren't stuck together, or whoever the printer is for this magazine, not doing a good job at cutting them. So, Waste Feeds Void, Pragmat Comms Uplink are part of the enhancements. Your secondary objectives, Toil Earns and Settle a Grudge, because obviously they're Space Dwarves, so they have grudges, like the dwarves do in Warhammer Age of Sigmar and good old the Old World and Fantasy Battles and stuff like that. And then your stratagem, so Payment in Kind, Pan Spectral Sweep, and Skeen Wrought Physiology. Almost said philosophy, man. Yeah, real cool stuff. Yeah, but good fun. So should be really good fun. And now we get to have a sneak peek, obviously, of what we're going to be getting in the near future. It's within arm's reach. We're going to start getting these guys before Christmas, which is a scary sounding thing. So, Astra Militarum, so the humans of the 41st millennium. So we get things like the Sentinel, we get the Ordnance teams, we get the Command Squad, and stuff like that, which I must admit, I am looking forward to. They're really good fun. And the Gene Stealer cults. So, as mentioned earlier, we get the Atalan Jackals, real cool unit. We get a Rock Grinder truck, which pretty cool. Also makes a different truck, and I can't remember what it's called, but there are 2 options for that vehicle in builds. And you get some pretty cool units as well for these guys. Obviously, the Gene Stealers are augmented humans, essentially. And and trying to topple the Imperium, but also, yeah, have some very close link to Tyranids as well, so which is pretty different and interesting. And one of the factions, I must admit, I'm kind of looking forward to getting hold of, so it should be good fun. Moving on from there, though, obviously next week, issue 58, obviously part 2 of 2, so he has the other section of Chthonian Beserks and the basis for them, and it'll obviously have the paint guide. We'll get information about the league territories and continuation of our campaign. Then issue 59 is the super cool Boom Dakka Snaz wagon for the Orc range, so which is our final Orc mini for the core magazine. Yeah, it's a super cool mini. I must admit, I'm looking forward to it. There's a little tiny part of me that's tempted to order a second one just for a giggle, because obviously you can paint them up in different colours and they have their own kind of orcish beliefs depending on which colour you go for. So yeah, real good fun. But yeah, it should be cool. So super cool unit. Issue 60 then will be our Einir Halfguard, which will be also really good to get hold of, because they're those slightly heavier armoured Leagues of Votann units. And yeah, then we're done with them too, and on to the Astra Militarum and Gene Stealer cults to take us all the way up to issue 80, and then issue 80, well 81 to 90 will be our World Eaters. So yeah, and then that's it, it's done. So yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of issues, but there is still quite a lot of issues really at the end of the day. There's over 30 issues still left to go, but it feels like it is really dwindling now. So yeah. Anyway, I have rabbited on more than enough. Thank you very much for watching. Next week's video obviously will be issue 58. It may be slightly later than normal, to the point it might actually turn up on Thursday, just because I'm out on Wednesday for a little bit of a catch up with family. So yeah, it may be later than normal. We'll see. Thank you very much for watching though, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye now.